You're listening to the AfterBuzz TV Network, now the largest new media platform on the web, and your number one source for after-show entertainment.
Very good, Dean Johnson.
From the AfterBuzz Studios in Los Angeles, California, presented by Maria Menounos and Bing.com, and streaming live thanks to Akamai Technologies, this is AfterBuzz TV's WWE SmackDown After Show. We'll break down tonight's episode and get you all the latest news and gossip. If you'd like to buzz in on tonight's show, you can buzz us at 424-256-1729. That's 424-256-1729. And now, another post-game wrap-up show for your favorite TV show. It's AfterBuzz TV's WWE SmackDown After Show.
Hey, welcome to SmackDown After Show. I'm Ric Drasin. I'm here on AfterBuzz TV, and it's our first time out. But before we get into SmackDown, which I really want to do with all of our guests here and our co-host, I want to let you know that I've been involved in pro wrestling since the beginning of time, caveman time. Actually, I started in 1965 with Freddie Blassie and Mr. Moto at the NWA, the Olympic Auditorium in Los Angeles, California, and I put a lot of years in wrestling. I had over 5,000 matches. I was the Demi-Hulk on the Incredible Hulk TV series with Lou Ferrigno. I trained with Arnold Schwarzenegger back in 1969 through 74 when I was competing in bodybuilding and wrestling as well. I designed the Gold's Gym logo, which I own the rights to, and I do have a wrestling school in Sherman Oaks, California right now, and I train people for WWE and indie shows. But I want to get into SmackDown, but I have to establish who I am so you know that I have some history in wrestling, and I know it like the back of my hand, and like all of my 9 fingers. I have all these friends and one midget right there. But I'd like to also introduce my co-host, Patricia Summerland, and I'm going to let her tell you who she is and what she's done.
Oh, I love that intro.
Ooh.
Hi, I was with gorgeous ladies of wrestling. We're all champions in the ring. We come from the streets, we come from the city. Anyway, I was Sunny, and we're making a comeback. We'll be at the CAC's, a new Glow show, after all, and formerly a Playgirl, if you will, in Playboy model, now doing another issue, up and coming. And we're going to feature, hopefully, some wrestlers, maybe Rick as well.
Oh, boy. There we go. Get my G-string.
There you go.
I also have Ryan Clum, who's one of my students, and he's a super fan. Go ahead, Ryan.
Yeah, my name is Ryan Clum. I have been a wrestling fan for about 25 years, I'd say, since I was about 12 years old. And about 6 months ago, decided to chase my dream and entered Rick's school, and have been doing it for about 6 months now. So,
You still have that dream?
yes, it's even bigger than it once was before I.
Is it a
got
nightmare?
with you. I guess it can be sometimes, but
Some of the slams are for sure, right?
A little bit. It beats up the body a bit.
Exactly.
But it's also amazing. So
Great.
It's what I've wanted to do since I was a kid.
Absolutely. I get those calls all day long.
Yep.
Ever since I was 3 years old, I wanted to be a pro wrestler. I have my entry music and my finish.
Absolutely.
Where do we go from there? Okay. We also have Brian Kendrick, who wrestled for WWE a few times. You were under contract, right?
Yes, sir. Yeah.
You don't have to call me sir. You can say the Rick.
Okay, the Rick.
Okay.
Yeah, my name is Brian Kendrick. And so I guess what I bring to the table is, wrestled on SmackDown plenty. My former partner Paul London and myself were the longest reigning tag champs in SmackDown history. And There you go.
And here you are.
Here I am right now.
And I'm glad you are.
Oh, thanks for having me.
Yeah, I'm glad we met because we hit it off really well.
And it's all thanks to this man.
That's right.
All right.
Thank you, Ryan.
We got to thank, I think, our family that actually put us together. So
We're just going to go around all night and just slam people. Well, I wanted to go back in time a little bit because a lot of you fans out there don't know this, but WWE was originally, or WWF, and it was WWF, and before that it was NWA. And the NWA was really the nucleus of wrestling back in the 60s and 70s. There was NWA West, which was the Olympic Auditorium. There was NWA East, which was Madison Square Garden. And it was Vince McMahon Sr. Now, many of you don't know that because you're not old enough to really understand that because that's a long, long time ago when I was a young man. But I wrestled for NWA. I was a heavyweight champion for them. And they would have, what they had back then were territories, which we all spoke about. Mm-hmm. Meaning that Los Angeles was the nucleus of it, but then you would wrestle in 5 small towns outside of that. You only had TV that was local. You didn't have this big thing that we see today on SmackDown and Raw. And so your champions were built within the territories. So if you watched Channel 5 on Wednesday or you watched Channel 13 on Saturday, they would promote their own champions. And they would say, now in San Diego on Monday night, or on Tuesday night over here, and Wednesday night at the Olympic Auditorium. So all people would come out and they'd pack the houses, like indie shows, but not like today's indie shows. So to me, that was what wrestling was really about. You didn't have training schools where they came out of a camp and they're going to beat the champion because they weren't qualified. You had people come from other territories that were from maybe parts unknown. You know, you have the Masked Marvel from Parts Unknown. You've never seen him before, but he's a scary dude.
Where is Parts Unknown? I've always wondered that.
No one's ever told me.
I've always wanted to visit there.
It's still unknown. Yeah.
Maybe if we get discovered there, we'll go there. We'll be unknown as well. But that was what really made wrestling popular, is because you didn't really know these guys. You didn't have to know them. You just knew they were scary. And when they'd show up at a match and they had a few promos to get there, you wanted to go out and see them. There was also many wrestling magazines. There was Wrestling Illustrated, Wrestling Today. There was all these magazines that went around to the indie market, which was not known as the indie market. It was called territories, like I said. So you saw these wrestlers. They might be back in Minnesota for the AWA, because that was one of the territories for Vern Gagne, which I also wrestled for. I wrestled with Superstar Graham and those guys back there. They had several towns they went to, and then you went down to Florida and you worked that area, or you went to Texas and worked that area. And then these people would kind of go back and forth between territories, but you saw them in the magazines. You never saw them on TV till they came locally. Now, that's what wrestling was, and it was always, you never knew what was going to happen. Like today's internet has taken WWE and all the marks out there, or smarks, right about, they know what's going to happen next week and the week after and the week after, and I don't want to know. It's like taking the secrets of magic and showing you every little trick in the book. Right. And you and I both know, we go to dinner where the magician is.
Oh, yeah.
And he shows us stuff.
Oh, yeah. He's great.
And it's always, how'd you do that?
I know, right?
And how'd you do that?
I'm trying to figure it out, but
but it's like wrestling.
It's really good.
You know, it's like back then when we were wrestling, if you were hurt, you were hurt, and you sold it in and out of the ring, and no one really questioned it on the internet. No one could tear it down and say, well, he's faking this and faking that. And the worst thing I've ever heard also is wrestling's fake. And we all know
it's not.
Oh, yeah. No. Hello. Oh, God. I was in the hospital many times to prove, and as well as all your injuries, we have injuries forever from it. Yeah. So come and tell us it's fake. I don't think so.
No, we could write a book on them.
Oh, yes. Most
Probably
certainly.
Get injured writing the book.
I'm the pile driver queen. Injury, that is.
I think I always come out a little bit more hurt than I went in. So.
Well, the characters back then, everybody had their own character. I mean, you could come into a territory and pretty much have your character, but sometimes the promoter would want to change it depending on what he needed at the time. And you just waited every week for that rematch. You know, everything was like, next week I'll cut your hair off, next week I'll beat you this. And so you'd wait, and you'd have to go home with your family and say, wow, that was great wrestling tonight. I really enjoyed those matches, and leave it at that. You didn't analyze, he didn't bump, he didn't miss a spot. Oh, he went out of the ring when he shouldn't have. He got on the, that would never happen.
Yeah, no.
You know what I mean? Yeah. We all just, well, you know, Patricia.
Yeah, I know.
You enjoyed it for what it was, right?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, we had to go with it. Like I said, you know, when you're filming live, you can't make mistakes. You got to roll with it, and the camera's right up close and personal. I'm sure, like WWE. When you're on TV, it's the way it is. Yeah. You know, you got to take those bumps and go with it. Even with an injury, even if it hurts, you go on to the next move. You can't show the audience that there was a mishap.
Did you believe it when you first saw it?
Absolutely. Oh yeah. It was. Back then, I remember the first thing I ever saw was Rowdy Roddy Piper shaving the Haiti Kid's head. With Bob Orton holding him up, and his feet were kicking, and it was just, what is this? I've never seen anything like that. And, hooked from there and totally bought into it until I think, people start telling, that's not, they start to tell you it's what it is and what it isn't, and they don't know though.
They don't know.
Yeah. They don't know, and that's what it.
Well, they would always say wrestling's fake, isn't it? And there was always a question at the end.
Exactly.
And they'd see me limping around. Why are you limping? Because I'm hurt. Yeah. And now I limp because I'm really hurt. And Roddy Piper, when he first started back then, I was at the Olympic. He was a very skinny kid with a lot of pimples, drinking a lot of milkshakes, trying to gain weight, and training in the gym with me, just trying to get anything he could, eating a lot of sugar so his face broke out. They would have him wrestle 2 times a night. Then they put him in a bodysuit and a mask to do another character. Not a lot of people know that. Wow. But he worked his butt off 6 nights a week to establish himself, and he was damn good at it. I mean,
I think a lot of people also think that the rings are these trampolines with, inches of padding, and then it's not. It's very rough and some of the older ones especially, when you've got those 2x5s, it's like
exactly.
It's like falling on a patio deck.
It is.
At times.
I was trained, and you guys know this, but you don't know this out there. I was trained by Mae Young, who's now, I think she's 87.
All right.
And yes, she's a trooper.
I just saw a thing the other day. She wants to wrestle on her 100th birthday.
She will.
Yeah.
I went to the Olympic Auditorium. I was 20 years old, 21, and she had a makeshift ring upstairs on a linoleum floor with a little pad and canvas and 4 little rings, little ring ropes. And she took a look at me and she says, let me see you without your shirt. And I was bodybuilding. She said, I could make some money with you. I said, yeah. She says, yeah, but I'm going to train you 5 days a week. And it was $25 a class. Now, back in the '65, $25 a class was a damn fortune.
Yeah.
I mean, I really had to walk the boulevard to make a lot of money to pay for that, up in Hollywood. But I
That's
drove.
where I thought I'd see you, right?
Yeah, this ass was nice back then. So I drove in 5 days a week from Bakersfield, 2 hours each time, and trained for 3 hours with her. Went back to the gym at home and trained because I really wanted it. And that's how bad people that want to be wrestlers, that's what you got to go through. And you know it, and you know it. You've got to really, really want it because it hurts.
Yeah.
And she taught me Mexican, Japanese, American style, and shoot style. And she says, anybody ever tells you it's fake, you show the front face lock and take them down. And she says, and they'll know it's not fake. But she was cool, and I learned a lot from her, and that's what wrestling's about. I mean, the people who watch today and say, "Oh, I can do that," and I get all these calls, 5:30 in the morning, as you know, 5:30 in the morning.
Yes, I do.
From these kids saying, "I want to be a wrestler. I'm back in New Jersey. Where are you?" I said, "Look at the 818 area code. I'm in Los Angeles. Do not ever wake me up again to tell me you want to be a wrestler."
I know, but bless their heart, they just have that need.
They have that
curiosity for wrestling.
Yeah, let them come over, right, and take one bump in the ring.
Yeah, we've had people do that, and they're gone within a class.
Exactly. I had one guy came over, and I want to get into SmackDown. I don't want to hold you guys up, but this is important stuff that we'll go on about later because wrestling fans need to know what it's all about. They just see what it is today. They don't know the work that we went through 30, 40 years ago. One guy came over. He looked like the Michelin Man, wrapped in duct tape from his head to his toe, to his shoulders to his hands, walking up my street like a stone man, 45 years old, wanting to be a WWE superstar. He says, I'm ready to go. Then he had a headache because he didn't eat for 3 days, and he was on diuretics and pain pills and training 6 hours a day with weights, saying that he wants to fast track to WWE. He lasted 2 days, went into the hospital, never showed back to work at his job for 4 days, and quit.
Wow.
Oh, that was quick.
Yeah, I know when I started with you, I didn't tell anybody that I was starting because I didn't want to be the guy that was like, ooh, I'm going to go follow my dreams and be in wrestling. Because I knew the first time I took a bump, it could be, this is it, I'm done.
Yeah.
I hate this. Unfortunately, it wasn't. I started doing it and it was awesome, and I kept with it, and then I let people know. But it is not what people think it is.
No, and Brian, you put.
I think I was going to say Brian knows.
Well, Brian knows. You put a lot of time in, and you've told me yourself, and we all know. You train and you work for free many times for years so you can get those matches to gain your knowledge and to gain some respect and a name where you can go on to WWE.
Yeah. I said this before you, but yeah, the universe is only going to reward you if you put the effort out there. If you think that you can just walk in and get anything just from wishing it, you're crazy. Your mind knows what you need to do, and if you're going to skirt around that, you're never going to get anywhere.
Exactly. And you got to be in shape.
Well, yeah, I mean, that goes hand in hand. I mean, if you go in and thinking that you can be a slob, you know better than that, and therefore you're not going to make it.
But they don't know better than that.
Yeah, exactly.
I guess there's a, if you watch American Idol, you see a lot of people who think they can sing too when they try out. I guess delusion is a genuine thing.
Perfect analogy, American Idol.
Yeah.
And it's the same thing with Playboy. How many girls think that they can be in Playboy?
Oh my God.
And do they look in the mirror? Really?
I know, and that's so true. I had to let my best friend go from the one issue that I've did in the past with my Uncle Gene Simmons from Kiss. She was my best friend, and she had a magnificent body, and they told her that she didn't make it. Why? Because her boobs looked fake. Too fake. She was too busty.
Do mine
believe
look
it or
fake?
not.
Do mine look fake?
Just a little.
Okay. Well, anyway, we'll get back to all this.
I might put you in Playgirl.
I already did Playgirl. I told you that.
That's what I thought, huh? Well, how about another issue?
No.
If I can do it, you can do it.
I don't even have a copy of it. I don't even want to look at it. That was years ago.
I don't want to look at it either.
Well, you might want to. I don't know.
Yes. Oh.
All right, let's get into the SmackDown because you guys are waiting for SmackDown and we want to talk about it. And that's what we're here for.
Oh, yeah.
All right. So, would you like to start the show with SmackDown? What you saw last night was starting with Christian coming back from his injuries and what he's going to do with picking teams and all that?
Sure. Coming back for, and I guess he jumped on Johnny Ace's team, or John Laurinaitis' team, which I'm rooting for personally. I actually love the John Laurinaitis character.
Why?
Yeah, that's
You know, a lot of people don't, I think.
Laurinaitis.
Yeah, I
Let me
mean,
tell you something.
maybe because I'm a Super Dave fan and he sounds and looks like Super Dave. But also, you know, I think he has a legitimacy that other figureheads have not had, where he is truly, you know, a behind the scenes power in the WWE. You know, he's got a legit job. So I enjoy that, and I just kind of enjoy this character that is not creative. He's trying to be creative. He's trying to be exciting, but he's this boring guy.
Yeah.
And I actually enjoy that kind of dynamic of that. So I love that character, and Christian coming back for him is great. I love Christian. He's one of my favorite guys.
John Laurinaitis used to wrestle.
Yeah, long time ago. He's Road Warrior Animal's brother.
See, I didn't know that.
Yeah,
I
he
don't
wrestled
think.
as
Yeah,
Johnny
that's what I've
Ace,
heard
the,
too. I know. Yeah.
He was big in all Japan.
Yeah.
Yeah, in Japan.
Yeah, he's a champion there, I believe,
Yeah,
right?
He was very successful. Yep, and
Yeah.
in WCW teaming with Shane Douglas.
The
for a while.
dynamic dudes, I
That's
believe.
it. Carried
that's-
skateboards. Yeah.
That's very valid then.
Yeah, he used to ride a skateboard down to the ring. He had the bleach blonde hair.
No kidding.
Yeah.
Hey, wait, sort of like me. With my bleach blonde hair.
Yeah, and her surfboard.
And my surfboard.
Yeah.
Right.
I didn't know that.
No.
All right, I want to say something about those teams before we talk about Christian. Why does the picture of Gary Coleman come into my mind?
I don't know.
I do. Do you?
I hope you're not making fun of Teddy Long.
I am.
Oh, yeah.
no.
That was a given.
That's Gary Coleman
there
stretched
you go.
out,
That was a given.
isn't it?
Absolutely.
Gary Coleman has risen from the dead. He is now Teddy Long.
And Teddy doesn't crack a smile either, at all. He just stare down.
Teddy would be a good evangelist.
He would be.
A lot of money in that business.
It's probably his day job.
And what's his position with the team?
He's the general manager of SmackDown. So this is the big match. The winner, whoever's team wins, they get control of both shows. So it's a big match.
It's a big deal.
Yeah.
All right, let's talk about Christian. Christian's been around a long time.
Long time.
He's a good wrestler.
Great wrestler.
Yeah. I hate to say this. I never
Please do, Rick.
I never felt he had the look.
I agree.
Am I wrong?
Maybe not the look, but I think he's got the passion, and that's what draws me to him.
Yeah.
You know, he was, and I think the reason I always liked Christian with, you know, you have the Edge and Christian. Edge was always the guy that was supposed to go and be the star.
Yeah.
And Christian was supposed to be the tag team guy, the member of the team that I think kind of fizzled out, and he didn't. He's pushed himself to the main event as well.
I give him a
and
lot
that's
of,
why I love him.
I give him a lot of credit. I like him. I liked him as a team.
Yeah.
I just, I don't know. To me, I'm old school. Wrestlers have a certain look.
Yeah.
Exactly. I agree with
Yeah,
that.
he looks a bit like the guy that lives next door to you.
Exactly. Yeah. Maybe that's the thing.
And what's going on with his injury? What happened there?
Yeah. What's the deal with that?
I'm not sure. I know he's back from the. I can't remember exactly what he had heard, but he's been out for 6 months. Maybe.
He had a pretty bad injury, from what I heard.
Yeah, it
Yeah.
was. I think it was after SummerSlam is when that happened, somewhere in the fall. So
Yeah.
he's been out for a
Wow.
little bit.
Have you ever worked with him?
Yes, I have.
Well,
Yeah. And I think he's coming back from fibromyalgia.
What?
No, that's a completely made up disease. That they said
Okay.
I think I have that.
You just wanted
yeah,
to say
right.
that.
Yeah, I did. I really just
Sounds
wanted
good.
to
That's a cool
get
word.
that out there. No, yeah, I wrestled him on Velocity of all shows, and he wasn't thrilled to be wrestling me because it was on Velocity, and you know he'd risen above Velocity at the time. But despite him, you know, protesting having to work Velocity, he was very giving to me in the match. For a kid who hadn't done much of anything, he let me get a lot in and really made me look good. I think as far as a wrestling mind goes, yeah, he's got a great one. Putting together matches, you know, and drawing people in towards the end of a match, especially. I think he's. Yeah, he's one of the better ones I've.
He's got the
ever-
psychology down?
Yes, sir. Yeah,
Okay, that's
absolutely.
important.
Yes, absolutely.
And he gave you
Yes.
some. You didn't have to just take it.
Oh, he could have eaten me up the whole time, and we went 11, 12 minutes,
That's
and
good.
and he made me look like this kid who was a joke at the beginning to a guy who's gonna beat him, and you know had him scared at the end, and so it was again, I know he did it begrudgingly at the beginning of the day, but I'm still very grateful for that
You know what
opportunity.
happened? I think I know what happened. I wasn't even there. Because I know how you are. I think he worked with you and saw that you were really good at what you did, and you showed some respect, and he probably figured halfway through that, I'm going to work with this guy.
Well, thank you, sir.
Don't you agree?
I hope so. I'm telling you,
I'll take
that's
the way it happened.
That's exactly
Right?
The Ric
I dig
Drasin,
that.
that's the
Ric
way it
Drasin.
happened.
That's exactly what happened.
Absolutely.
Okay. Well, that's good to know. I mean, it's a nice opinion of him because he is a good worker.
Oh, yeah.
Definitely.
I just maybe need to see him out of his jeans and stuff. He just didn't fit the bill when he was in the ring yesterday, even his plain clothes,
Out of his jeans.
Out of his jeans,
Well, you know what I mean.
in his tights.
Yeah, you might say that.
Okay.
And back in the day, he had the long hair. He had more of a wrestler look.
That's right.
Back in the early 2000s, late 90s. So, I was probably at the point where he could cut his hair and look a little bit normal because he's a bit over.
Yeah.
Okay.
I know. You're over, and you can do anything you want. I mean, they all do. But I don't even get off on the Sting and his makeup because that's a whole other thing. I don't think that's necessary at all. All right, so we got a match. What was the first match we had? Kofi
first
Kingston.
one,
David
yes.
Otunga, Kofi Kingston,
Yes.
which
I love David.
which came out of the promo because Kofi is the new member of Team Long.
I think he's awesome.
He's great, yeah.
Wow.
No, you don't?
I thought a few of his moves were looking pretty bad.
Really?
They weren't connecting. No, they looked way too. If I was going to say fake,
Yeah.
pretty bad.
There was no contact?
David Otunga just ruled.
He ruled the match.
He ruled. This
But-
guy is just all over the place. Yeah, I know he's trying to be a Jamaican type character or whatever, just off the wall, and he wasn't even making contact on a few of his moves.
Well, he was healing Otunga. Right.
I'm not talking
Otunga.
Otunga. I'm talking about
Kofi.
yeah.
No, I'm saying because Otunga it should dominate at least 80% of the match when you're going to heal,
Which he
right?
did. Yeah.
Typically, yeah, for
Was that a
sympathy. Yeah.
Okay.
Yes.
Yes.
Yes. Yeah.
Yes.
And he did a good job of dominating the match.
Oh yeah.
I
definitely.
think that Kofi's moves are spectacular. And
When he comes off the top rope, it looks like he goes 10 feet in the air.
Exactly. That's his greatest
does.
move.
Yeah.
But on the mat and his kicks, a few of them, like I said, didn't connect.
oh, I'm so sorry to hear that.
I know.
Did he sell it though? No. He might have.
He was, a little over the top in selling in some of it. He was flopping too much.
Was
A
Otunga
little
selling
too.
it? I don't remember if he. I don't.
Otunga always does.
Yeah.
Always.
Did you? Have you worked with Kofi?
Yes, I have. And
See, there we go again.
Okay, good.
You worked with everybody.
I've worked with a lot of them. But I think athletically, he's maybe the best athlete to ever wrestle for the WWE. I think Shelton Benjamin was a phenomenal athlete too, but Kofi Kingston is just he's ridiculously athletic.
Yes, he is.
Yeah. That's to me, he's got a great look and everything, but his athleticism is. I don't even know who could hold a candle to him in the company right now.
Yeah. The biggest thing with all of that, and we've talked about it.
Yes.
We've talked about it, and we talked about it. Is selling. So many people don't sell anymore, and the business is exposed, as we know. It has been for years, and the marks are also realize that there's selling involved. But my God, if you're going to get kicked, you're going to get hit. That hurts. You might as well sell it, and when you come back, still sell it. Don't come back like you're Superman, like nothing ever happened to you. That's
Right.
That's the art of wrestling.
Absolutely.
That's the whole art of it. And I see these two guys doing that, and they might sell for a split second, then we're right back again. I don't know if that's what WWE calls for. I mean, maybe they tell them that. But if it was my match, I wouldn't run it that way.
No, slow it down first of all, and really make it look real. I mean, you got to hit, but not really. Knock the person out.
but you gotta sell
and this
that
is
punch.
just the way we're trained. Exactly.
Yeah.
And we were trained old school.
Yeah.
Both of us, and not to put it out, but that's just the way it is. And this guy, I agree, is very good, very athletic, but a few of his moves didn't even hit. It's like, wait a minute, did I see that? I'm like,
Yeah, there was some error in between.
yeah, think,
Yeah.
yeah,
I hate to analyze it like that.
but it's true.
I think another problem today that I noticed with a lot of guys on the selling as well is the connection to the audience that they don't have.
Yes.
I was watching a match, I think it was Jack Swagger on Monday, and just noticing he was just move after move after move and not ever connecting with the audience. And so people were just kind of sitting there and not,
Yeah.
he never acknowledged them.
No, you have to draw
you're
the-
starting to see that some guys don't acknowledge the audience.
And that's the main thing.
Didn't you say something though about? Didn't we talk about connecting with the audience when you're doing TV? You're working the camera, not the audience.
Well, the idea of even if you have a sold out arena of 17,000, you're playing to millions out there in TV land, and so
Exactly.
they'll still get it even if you're looking at the hard camera. The people behind you know what's going on.
Well, when I was wrestling at the Olympic Auditorium, they had one camera, and the camera was up on a platform way up in the air that would shoot down and cover the whole ring. Then they'd zoom when they'd want to zoom. They didn't have the handhelds around the camera like they do nowadays. So we were aware that the camera was there, so all of our holds and headlocks were based to that camera, and our back was to the audience. But we always worked around so everybody could see what we were doing.
But when it came time to
Right.
and that's still what they focus on today.
Yeah.
Or
Yeah.
try to.
Yeah, but you got more cameras to work with nowadays.
Yeah, so
They're
you
all over
can-
the damn place. you
Yeah.
know. All right, let's move on. The twins versus AJ.
Oh my God, the Bella twins and AJ,
Nikki Bella.
who wow, she looks like she's 12. What is up with that? And the little skipping and hopping, and oh my God, and Daniel on the sidelines going, "Go, baby, you can do it." Please.
You didn't like it.
Oh no.
What'd you think?
I like AJ and the whole Daniel Bryan thing a lot. Actually, I think it's really interesting. You know, you've got the sweet girl and kind of the jerk boyfriend right now.
Right.
That does he really like her or not? So you know, and I've had many friends. You know, we see those situations all the time in
course.
life. So I think it's really interesting. I enjoy it.
There's going to be a little twist in there somewhere. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And I think AJ is good. I think she's got a lot of potential.
She's very athletic.
Yeah.
She pulled it off really well. She had some good moves and a good finish.
She's young. I mean, she's got
She's
a
like
lot
12?
to learn.
Yeah,
I mean,
she really comes across that
But-
way, too bouncy trouncy, but yeah,
But I think down the road, I think she's gonna be really good.
I think so too.
Yeah.
She, I mean, by him being there as the boyfriend, it's really putting her over big time.
Yeah, big time.
Big time.
It's pushing her.
Really pushing her.
Yep. In fact, she didn't even really get a big hug or anything from him afterwards. She's just standing there, and he's like, "Come on, let's go." And they go back in the locker room. She's like a little puppy dog.
That's his slave.
Yeah, yes.
Yeah,
It's
but
kind of like
love
Remy
that. Yeah.
with
He's
the
trying to
gloves.
Do you know
steal.
them?
Yeah.
Oh, I
You worked with Daniel Bryan?
I mean, yeah, Daniel Bryan and I, Brian Danielson, him and I broke in together. We both trained at Sean's school. He let me sleep on his floor when I was driving back and forth from Austin to San Antonio. So, I mean, he could just eat a bowl of rice for 30 minutes and I'll still think it's great. You know, I mean, I can't say anything bad about him.
Oh,
And
I like him.
he's wonderful. Yeah.
Yeah.
And his character's getting really good, I
Yes.
think.
Yeah, it is.
Very well
It's working.
deserving of what he puts 150% in. He really
Yeah.
does, and he can work, and he's pulling it off.
Yeah. I like to say he's obnoxiously awesome. He's completely obnoxious.
Yeah, but
That's a good way of
and he's good at
putting
it.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's great.
That's what it takes.
He's a
Right.
natural at
Yeah.
it.
Oh,
Yeah.
How long has he been in the business?
We started training together in '99, July of '99. So I don't know. I guess I'd make it 13 years now.
Oh, that long?
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
I had no idea.
You're right.
He went
Yeah.
straight from high school, drove down to Texas, and he was a star in All Japan, star in ROH. He's been
Wow.
just the best wherever he's gone. He was
God.
considered the best in the world 5-6 years ago.
Huh.
Yeah, he's tremendous. And
He's well deserving. He put his time in.
Oh yeah.
Boy, things have changed.
Yeah, I had no idea. I thought he was like 19.
No, yeah. He's
And it's really
30 years
nice.
old.
It's nice that guys like him and CM Punk are now getting the recognition. The guys that were the big indie stars about
Yes.
5 years ago that
I have to agree
they'll
with
never
you on
make it
that.
to the WWE and
Yeah.
and they're now running the show.
And not
I
just
like
stars
CM
there.
Punk.
Yeah, not just way off SmackDown,
Yeah.
but I like CM Punk.
Yes.
I think the guy can really work.
Yes.
At first, I wasn't sure, but boy, he's proven himself.
Yeah, he's good.
He's damn good at everything he does.
Yeah, that best in the world moniker I think is deserving at times.
All right. Then we had the Great Khali. I have a lot to say about that.
Oh,
And-
I
and
love
Cody Rhodes.
him. I just love the Great Khali.
I think
He
I
reminds
think-
me of Andre the Giant so much, which I was blessed to meet. And
Why does he
his-
remind you of Andre the Giant? Because
Because
he's,
of his gentleness and his statute and everything about him.
yeah, he's a big
Of
man.
course, he is very big. Yes, you just want to love him,
Do you?
just like the Big Show.
I don't.
I'm not going to agree with this at all.
I don't either.
I liked him in the longest yard.
Yeah.
Oh yes,
He didn't do anything. And he still doesn't
a
do
good
anything.
game of ping pong.
But he looked good on the behind the bars.
Yeah. Even though I'll say I don't think the match was actually that bad. It wasn't nearly as bad as I expected it to be. I think Cody actually
it was a pretty good
Yeah, I
match.
think Cody actually did a pretty good job carrying that.
Yeah.
I think he's getting really good.
I know Cody. I met him. I told you I had lunch
Right,
at the
yeah.
firehouse. What a nice guy. What a nice guy. He
Grew up in the business.
Yeah, he did all he could with him. You know, there's things when you start training like when I did way back in the past. They made us wrestle a broomstick. And the reason being is you got to make that broomstick look good, because the broomstick's not going to look good by itself. Or you wrestle the Invisible Man, which I have do in my classes sometimes, because you work with somebody who's you just don't know what to do with them. And with the Giant, you don't know what to do with someone like that because they can't do much. So you go for the legs and do what you can to take them down. Then you do your groundwork like that. And Cody's very good at that.
Which he did.
He did.
He took a good bump, Khali did. He went down good.
But
That's not easy at his size.
No, exactly. What I see in him, because my knees are bad, and this man has bad knees.
Yes, you
like,
can tell.
Really bad knees.
Yes.
And I felt when he fell and he bumped that he's not going to get up.
No.
You know, I mean, it's just hard on his body. You can see when he walks, he can't walk.
I think he has a hip displacement or something going on.
Yeah, he's
there.
part German Shepherd. They all have that. Have you worked with a Great Khali?
I've worked with both Great Khali
here
and
we go
All
again.
right,
Jeez.
Brian, tell us, please.
And everything I said about Kofi,
Yeah.
he's the flip side of that. Just single-handedly has to be the worst athlete to ever step into a WWE ring. But he's a really nice person. I really like him as a person. Very funny. You wouldn't think about it. A charming guy. But when you say like wrestling a broomstick, I say it's more like wrestling a lamppost because you can move around a broomstick.
Yeah.
Like this guy, you can't even move around. And if a broomstick could talk, he would say no if he was this broomstick. So I think if anybody can pull a halfway decent match out of Khali, then they're a truly blessed wrestler. They've got a certain special something. I think Cody's great, and just not to get hurt by Khali, you've got to be pretty good.
Yeah.
Right, because I can imagine he's got some power behind him.
Yeah.
He falls on you, that's it. Forget about it.
I guess I'm just in love still with that old school persona, and he just reminds me of Andre. Maybe that's it.
No, I see
just
that.
the gentleness and
Andre could work though.
yeah. Oh well, yeah. Don't we know? Andre was the best.
Oh, I loved Andre.
You have your oddities in the business because wrestling came from a circus sideshow. That's where it originated way back in the day, and that's what drew people in were strange-looking characters. And back in the 80s, when they had like Earthquake, I think it was the 80s, Earthquake, and some of those guys, Tugboat, they don't have these characters anymore. And those characters drew money.
Yeah.
They were each one.
One Man Gang.
One Man Gang is another one. What's the one with the tattoos on his head?
Bam Bam Bigelow.
Bam Bam Bigelow. The list goes on.
him.
These were all characters that drew money in the business and made the business what it was. So you need those types. And Khali is definitely one of those types. But there's only so many things you can do with him. It's like taking down the Empire State Building when you take him down. Little by little, you take him down, then you try to pin him. And the only thing I saw is this man has physical problems. He's really physically disabled. And to do that to him, it hurts me to see someone. It hurts me to see a business take advantage of somebody like that who's not physically well.
Yeah.
There's something wrong, and he's going to get hurt one day really bad.
Right. Yeah, the difference between him, though, and all those other names we mentioned is all those other names could actually wrestle.
Exactly.
Bam Bam Bigelow had a great match with Lawrence Taylor at WrestleMania. I mean, Khali wouldn't be able to take a football player and have a great match.
No, he's just got a great look. I mean, I would say
he's
that
just got a great look.
Yeah, he would be great for the movies.
Yeah.
WWE makes all these movies with Cena and Triple H and all these.
He'd be great for
And
that.
Kane, put Khali in there.
Absolutely.
Yes.
That's his thing. He'd be a hell of a horror film.
Yeah. Very true.
I'll give you that.
And he won't have to bump. All right. So, are we done with him? Are we done reaming him out?
I know
He's
you
a
guys,
nice
come on.
guy. I feel bad saying anything bad about him.
I know,
He's
but
a nice guy.
you made that sound like meeting a fat girl and saying she's really sweet, though.
That's exactly it. Yeah, she's got a great personality. Yeah.
Even though she's 25 pounds overweight or...
Oh, if he was the equivalent of only 25 pounds overweight, I could find something nice to say. Yeah, he's like 325 pounds overweight. Yeah.
Well, he was in shape in the movie Long's Yard.
Yeah, he was.
I guess, yeah.
Yeah.
Now he's gotten heavy.
Well, it may have been his injuries. What about that little man in the ring? The wee little one. We don't want to say midget because it's not polite, but
You mean Hornswoggle?
there you go.
Yeah.
Hornswoggle. What was that? That was cute.
I've wrestled
I
him
caught
too.
that. Have you now?
Yes, I
Wait a
have.
minute. Let me say one thing. I can't. I got to plan it.
Hornswoggle.
That was a short match.
Yes, it
Oh,
was.
yeah, right. I have one of those little guys that wants to challenge me in a match in Missouri.
Just step on him.
I thought
That's
about it.
Put your foot on him. You'll never
He wants to
move.
run between my legs. I'm like, I bet you do.
Ooh. Ooh.
Can I surf on your back? Come here, little
Jeez.
one. Yeah.
Don't let him stop short. All right. Drew McIntyre and the Big Show.
Yes. Let's hear it, Ryan.
It was a short match, but I thought for as short as it was decent. I mean, Big Show's awesome. I mean, that guy's incredible.
Yes.
Absolutely amazing. I think he's Andre the Giant 2.0. You know, the bigger, better version of Andre.
Yeah.
And Drew's really good too. I thought, it was really short, but it was good.
It was good.
A really good match.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, it was only 2-3 minutes. It was pretty quick.
Yeah.
But sometimes those matches are better. Mm-hmm. A shorter match with a less said and just get the job done is better than a long match that just bores the hell out of you.
Right.
Because some of those things go 20 minutes and it's like, oh my God, take it home already.
Exactly.
Big Show's a hard worker. He's put a lot of time in and he really represents the business well.
Yeah. He's incredible.
I like him.
He is. But I have feelings about that too.
Let's hear him.
It's no disrespect to him at all, but I think that WWE keeps these guys way too long on camera. I mean, for example, when I was talking about the territories back in the day, they brought a champion in, he'd stay 2 or 3 months and he was gone. And then he'd drop the belt and then he'd come back and then they brought somebody else and they kept it fresh all the time.
Right.
And not just Big Show, but there's a lot of guys that they have on their roster they've had around for years and years and years and years and years. It's like, okay, we've seen them. What more can they possibly do? It's the same thing every match.
Right.
Let's change it up a bit. Let them go for a while and bring them back. I know they have to make a living and all that. And since Vince made WWE the only one wrestling show in the world, which is kind of wrong. That's like having one bank or one supermarket. Right. There's nowhere for them to go to make a living.
That's almost
maybe Japan or something, right?
Yeah, that's true.
That's what they did with Andre, right? Back in the day, is I believe he would kind of be the guy that would come in for the Battle Royal, or they needed the secret partner, and then Andre would come in and be the secret partner for the babyface. So yeah, you don't have that anymore.
You don't have it anymore. It's overkill. It's like their main stars are on every show, and they have been for every month and every week and every day and every year. And it's like, I want to see somebody different once in a while.
Right.
They bring them up underneath and put them on the bottom, but I'm talking about stars.
Mm-hmm. Well, so we didn't do that though, Rick, and Glow was a success because of it.
Well, you had a lot of girls that came in and went though, didn't you?
No, we had our set of characters. It was all characterized. There was no other.
Were some of the characters duplicated though?
No.
Never.
There was no duplications.
Well, that's different because it was women.
Oh.
We see women all the time.
And thank you for Mae Young paving our way for this.
And the Moolah.
The Great Moolah.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
There you go.
But it's just like I said, when there were territories, for example, they would draw houses and they would do their local promo on TV and then they'd bring a name in. And when that name would come in, you'd be a sellout. And there's 2 things that would sell out. Well, 3 things that would sell out. A big name that was a champion. The midgets would always sell out. Always without fail. And the women would always sell out. And it wasn't sexy women, it was Mae Young. And Mae Young is not sexy. Trust me.
Or Mount Fiji.
That's a matter of opinion.
Big Bad Mama.
Yeah. You like
Matilda the Hun.
She's got a little certain
All my
something,
girls.
yeah.
Oh, Brian. I didn't know that about you, Brian.
Oh, yeah.
Okay. You like older women.
Better believe it.
Well, back when they were wrestling, I remember going, they wore the one-piece outfits, and it was like your mom wrestling the neighbor. Two women out there pulling hair and kicking each other. It was a women's fight.
Oh, my God, I never looked at it that way.
That's how it was. That's what drew the audience, because we're going to go see Grandma and Mom wrestle. There wasn't hot chicks by any means. Not hot. If you got one that was like on a scale of 1 to 10, that was a 6, you were doing good. I'll take her. That's good.
I miss the midget wrestling as well. I grew up watching that. And
they had
there were so many good workers back then.
They had the best high spots and the best finishes.
The little people, we say. The wee little people.
I was just watching the WrestleMania 3 match the other day with Little Beaver and Little Tokyo and Hillbilly Jim and all that.
I wrestled
they were great back then.
I wrestled in Oregon.
Beaver, that doesn't sound right.
That was his name. It was Little Beaver, Little Tokyo, and the Haiti Kid. I forget who the fourth was.
Some do have a Little Beaver. I wrestled with Haiti Kid and Little Beaver in Oregon when I was working that territory, as I said, territories. And I had a Datsun 240Z, which is only a 2-seater. And we stayed at this Bomber Motel, and they stayed across from me in a cabin. There were cabins, and they needed to ride to the matches. So I put one next to me and one in the trunk. And we drive, and they bring a case of beer. I had to stop about every 10 miles. They had to get out and pee. And I'd throw them back in the trunk, and we go again. And then when we finally got there, we did a mix. I don't know if you've ever done a mixed match with midgets, have you?
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
I think I'm leaving.
No. Yeah.
No,
Let's hear it.
We would, the 2 bigger guys would lock up. The midgets crawl up our back and lock up on top of us.
Oh, yeah.
I haven't done that.
That does not sound right. Wait a minute.
No. I mean, they would go between our legs, and we'd just be like bases for them. And they do all their fancy stuff. We had a great time.
Yeah.
That sounds fun.
They were
right
so
there.
entertaining back then.
Very entertaining, but if you go on YouTube and look at midget wrestling and look at the matches from the 60s and 70s with the original midgets like Little Beaver and Haiti Kid and all those guys, watch their spots and watch their storylines. Their storylines are much different than the bigger guys, and they're a lot more fun.
Oh, I'm sure.
They do stuff out there that's phenomenal. I mean, it's like a cartoon, and it's crazy, but it's funny stuff.
Well, it's like little Gremlina. She used to nip at our ankles because she was a little gremlin.
Yeah,
She was
something like
little-
that. Exactly.
Yeah, it
Something
was so
like,
funny.
It is
we just
funny.
tossed her and threw her around. She was just like, poor thing. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, that's how it was. I mean,
Yeah.
but they don't have midgets today like that. You know, it's not politically correct to call them midgets.
No, it's little people.
Well,
That's why I
call them
say.
short little shits as far as I'm concerned.
Oh, well, there you go.
But they work well,
Alrighty.
and they're fun to work with. And they lived in a cabin by me. And when they left, I was in mine. They came over to say goodbye, and they brought me all their food. They had steaks and stuff left over. They wanted me to have it to eat. And one of them would stay back, and I'd pick these two up, and one was in the cabin. You'd see him jumping up in the window trying to wave goodbye like a little kid. It was the funniest thing. I had a great time. Just a great time. Okay, Mark Henry and Todd Sue.
Or Yoshitatsu.
Yeah.
I thought this match was a little bit boring.
Yeah.
Honestly, it was short. It wasn't very competitive. I mean, Mark Henry just basically took him out, and I don't think it was very interesting even in that. You know, it was kind of a short match like the one before that we were just talking about, which I thought was a good match. This one to me was a little boring. I mean, I love Mark Henry. I think they're both great guys.
He is what he is. There's another big guy that comes in and does his thing. And after a while, you know exactly everything he's going to do.
Right.
And it gets boring. It just gets boring. I want to backtrack one thing because I forgot about my notes on Big Show. Did you see his finisher?
The weapon of mass destruction, his punch to the face.
That was it.
Yeah, that's his new finisher over the last couple of years.
I like that.
Yeah, I thought it was good.
He knocked him out.
Yeah.
I know. I
Yeah.
mean, you don't see that from anybody else. He's the only guy that does that, and it's kind of different than doing something spectacular off the ropes.
True, yeah, and it's interesting how the referee then calls the match. It's not a 10 count or anything
Right.
like that. He's out. He can't compete.
Right, like a
We're
UFC,
done.
like a
Right.
UFC fight.
Exactly.
No, I forgot to say that, and then we're back to Mark Henry again. I need to go back and forth
Good
like
point.
that. I'm just juggling my wrestlers around. Yeah, Mark Henry, world's strongest man. He does what he does, but it's not real exciting.
No. He had that run a few months ago where he was just destroying the Big Show and that monster run he had, and which was great. And then he got hurt and has kind of pedaled off a little bit since then. He hasn't really been the big main focus, so he hasn't been that big scary monster as much. And I kind of felt maybe this match was them trying to get him back to that. For the big Teddy Long, John Laurinaitis match.
Right. Have you worked with Mark
Yeah,
Henry?
that's true.
I've never worked with him, but he threw my bachelor party.
Did he really?
Yeah, he
that's
did. He
really-
made sure I had a bachelor party, so I'll never say anything bad about Mark Henry. Yeah, he holds a special place in my heart.
That's
yeah.
very nice of him.
It was,
Yeah.
yeah. Him and my old partner Zeke made sure I had a bachelor party, and sure enough, I did. Yeah.
That's really, really sweet.
Nice.
You have a connection to Mark Henry. He used to date Mae Young, remember, back in the... I mean, they had a hand together.
They were in bed together. Remember that?
Yeah, she gave birth to a hand.
Yeah.
One of the greatest moments ever in wrestling.
That was so
that
funny.
and Snitsky kicking the baby.
Oh, my God. What happened to Snitsky?
I don't know. I don't know where he's been.
He trained down here at UPW in Orange County when he started. I haven't seen him since.
Yeah, I actually haven't seen much of him. I wasn't really watching WWE all that much when he was around.
Yeah, he had
I have to say Randy Orton. We got to get to him. Oh, boy. My fave.
All right, let's go there.
Oh, I love Randy Orton.
Okay, let's go there.
Well, Ryan, tell me what you think. What's
The
your critique on that?
Randy Orton Kane promo,
Oh, yeah.
which I guess was actually before the Otunga match. I was kind of bored.
Yeah, I wasn't
honestly.
doing promos. I was doing matches, but let's talk about that.
Okay, yeah. I was kind of bored.
Why?
With that promo? Maybe because it was the second one of the show, and I don't know. I'm just not really into the story. I love both guys. Both guys, I think, are amazing wrestlers. But,
Yeah.
But there's something about the story that's just not doing it for me.
No.
Yeah.
Did they
Just
have
kinda
this
boring.
introduction before? Maybe I didn't see that one, but this one I thought was pretty cool. Definitely, they're building up the bad blood between them and the
Yeah.
the whatever. Well, like the Rock and John Cena type.
Yeah.
But I think they're both great wrestlers.
Mm-hmm.
You're excited. You're excited about the Rock and John Cena fight.
Oh, yes.
And I'm thinking about. I wonder what they could possibly do to make it interesting.
Yeah, I don't know.
Let's rock.
I mean, I really don't know. And they're both charismatic, and they both have made a name, and they both have a look, and they're both good at what they do. I just don't get excited about it.
Yeah, I think Kane is one of the most underrated guys on the roster. He's incredible. He's like the number 3 monster, I think, on the roster. Yeah.
Do you know he has degrees in like literature and stuff like that?
He does?
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, that's
Doesn't
what I heard
surprise
too.
me.
Yeah, very prolific guy.
Yeah.
The thing that surprised me the most when I started wrestling was how mental it is, and you can't really be dumb and do this.
No,
you have to be intelligent. You have to be a smart person.
You have to be. It's all the psychological thing of running a match and putting a storyline together and knowing where you're going with it and having a third eye to see what you're doing.
Yeah. Because
when you're in the midst of it, you don't really know. You have to really look at yourself objectively, see where you're going. Because you get caught up in whatever you're doing.
Mm-hmm.
You know how that is. You know, you're thinking about the moves, and you're not thinking about what you're trying to project, and it's like dancing.
Yeah. The minute time changes, the minute you step between the ropes, it's just a very, very different.
Oh, you're on. You have to sell. You have to know what your next move is. Your memory has to be right on. Timing, the most important.
And your hearing, right, Ryan?
Mm-hmm. Oh,
what?
yes.
Yes.
What?
Yes.
What?
Huh?
The main event.
Da-doom.
With Sheamus, right?
Sheamus, Chris Jericho. Well, we had the Chris Jericho promo first, and then, which was just quickly awesome.
Yeah, this is always good.
Yeah, and I love the angle he's taken with the whole CM Punk and his alcoholic father, and he's gonna drive CM Punk to drink, and the whole idea that his tattoos are because of the pain of him wanting to drink. And
to cover it up.
I think it's fantastic. I think it's great, and especially go back to Monday, CM Punk not responding and just walking off. We haven't heard from him since. So I love that psychologically Jericho's really getting into his head for this WrestleMania match coming up.
Yeah, it's all good.
Yeah, it's great.
And you can do that with TV nowadays. And like I say, back in the day, they didn't play that way. You left the audience on the live show and they just walked out, whatever you do. And no one really got it unless they were sitting ringside.
Yeah.
But today, when it goes over the airwaves like that.
You can play it dramatically.
Exactly, yeah. That's the same thing with Orton. I mean, he doesn't say a whole lot, but his eyes is telling the
Oh,
whole
he's
story.
intense.
Yeah.
He is intense.
He's more scary about what he's going to do to you and not say anything.
Without saying anything.
Yeah.
There's where we go back. Less is more.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Less is more. And a good example of that's Clint Eastwood in all of his movies. He didn't have to say a whole lot.
Nope.
Just
No.
a look.
Make my day.
Make my day. And it's in the eyes.
Mm-hmm.
Whoa. All right, so we got the match with Sheamus, Man from Glad. Because he's all white.
The Great White.
Too white.
I thought it was a really good match. Yeah. Best match of the night. I mean, it was the main event, so it should be.
Yeah.
They had a bunch of time. But it was good. I enjoyed. I'm not usually a big fan of count-out finishes and disqualifications, but I thought this one was done really well. It made sense. So I thought it was, and I enjoyed the end with Sheamus throwing Chris Jericho into Daniel Bryan, which kind of caused Daniel Bryan then to come and interfere to get that. It all made sense to me. I like that.
It did make
it was
sense.
a cheat.
Well, geez.
That was a big cheat, though.
Isn't that what wrestling's about?
I don't
Win
think
if you
that was
can.
fair.
There was a model years ago, Magnificent
Disqualification
Marisa.
we used to get.
Win if you
I noticed
can,
that.
lose if you must, but always cheat. Play that in life.
It's only cheating if you get caught.
Yeah, with your taxes.
Yeah.
Have you worked with Sheamus?
Yeah, I've worked with Sheamus, never with Jericho. But I think, just watching Jericho, I think he's got one of the best minds in wrestling. I remember his match with Shawn Michaels in Seattle, that WrestleMania. It had me welling up. It was so good. I've seen him even matches in house shows where he just has me at the edge of my seat. And, I was stuck watching wrestling 4 times a week, and having to watch through the curtains and would get bored, but he would still find a way to excite me. And, Sheamus was good from the moment I first saw him wrestle. So I think they're both.
He just blinds me. I'm sorry.
I think he's getting good.
Yeah, I think he's terrific.
Yeah. I wasn't a big fan when he first came out, and I don't think I liked the heel character that he was playing. But now that he's a good guy, I'm enjoying that. I'm enjoying this character. I think he is really good.
He is good.
Yeah,
Maybe they should put
he
him in a
gets it.
kilt
I
or
think
something.
he connects with the audience. The audience likes him.
Yeah.
You're starting to see kids with no shirts on with their with their Sheamus necklaces and the painted in stuff. You saw that on SmackDown. You know, kids doing that. They're I think he's one that the kids are going to like and people are really starting to enjoy.
Is that his natural color hair, or does he dye it red?
I believe he dyes that, but I think he is a redhead.
I would believe.
I think he just dyes it more red.
There would be no way for
I'm
his skin
thinking
tone
about
not to
doing
be.
that with my beard.
Yeah, it'll look awesome.
July, red, white, and blue.
Goodness.
So next week, I don't know what they're going to do on that. I mean, I don't like to count ahead to see where they're going to go with this stuff. I'd rather see
it's
it.
a little bit hard these days to figure
is.
out what the next show's
It
going to
is, but all in all, it was a pretty decent show.
I thought it was a good one. We got WrestleMania in 2 weeks, 3 weeks.
Right. Is that the Battle Royale? What's this whole 12-man? What's your
The
opinion on that?
The 6-man John Laurinaitis and
the Teddy
Long.
Yeah.
I think it's an interesting match. I mean, I think it's going to be a one fall match, which they're not going to do like Survivor Series style elimination because it will take too long, is what I've heard. So I don't know. That's the one thing. It's like six guys on the team, 12 guys, only one fall might be a little bit weird. So
That's kind of weird.
Yeah.
You know,
We'll see how they work
you don't
that
see this
out.
anymore. I don't know if you did this with Glow or not, but we used to do 2 out of 3 falls.
Yeah, and I think we're actually doing that up at the CACs too.
Are you?
We're doing the same Battle Royale.
It's more of a special thing now.
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
2 out of 3 falls were interesting, especially they were only really on the semi-main and main event because you never knew which way it was going to fly on the last count. It would be a short one maybe. Second one, if you might have 2 in a row, you win 2 in a row, and then if you have one winner and one winner on each match, then the third one you don't know where it's going to go. You'd have maybe a trick ending where you think you just about got it, and something comes up, and boom, that's the end of it.
Oh yeah.
And what they do today that you don't see much back then, every once in a while, is everybody has a run-in.
Yeah.
There's too many run-ins.
I
Way too
agree.
many.
And it's usually done on TV. I know that because it's part of the promo, but it really gets annoying. I don't want anybody to run in on me when I'm doing something in the bedroom. That's for damn sure.
I miss the clean finishes.
Well, I have a clean finish in the bedroom.
This is not. I don't want to know about that.
That's not a commercial. That's not a commercial break in there. So do not run in.
Speaking of which, the Texas tornado. Remember those?
Sure.
Kerry Von Erich.
There you go. Yeah.
He's a big fan.
They
He
don't
was
do enough
good.
of those.
He supposedly was missing a foot or
Yes.
something and had special boots.
Yes.
Yeah.
He lost his foot in a
In a
motorcycle
motorcycle accident.
I didn't know that.
Artificial foot.
Whoa.
I knew a guy that had an artificial leg and he had a real foot.
Oh wow. Very interesting.
Yeah.
The veins connect up to
Everything
the
connected.
Wow.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Yeah.
To the chin bone, the collarbone. Okay.
Well, I think we wrapped it up
Anyway.
pretty good, and I'd like to do a couple of things here. I'd like to plug my wrestling school, which is in Sherman Oaks, California, which you guys come to, and you come and help out, and
Yes.
Patricia's coming there. There's not many wrestling schools around, and I get calls on a daily
Well, Rick,
basis.
why don't we
Yes.
take a quick commercial break? You guys
Okay.
have talked for a little bit. I know you guys need a little break.
Okay,
So let's do a quick commercial, and then we'll come back in with all of that.
that sounds
right.
fine.
Sound like a plan?
Yes, it does. I can have my water.
TV. Hi, I was once like you, a lazy, angry loner whose only joy was watching TV and surfing the net. And like you, after I'd see one of my favorite TV shows, I'd be so excited and have so many questions that I'd actually have to talk to my douchebag coworkers about it at the water cooler. Then I discovered AfterBuzzTV.com. AfterBuzz TV produces after-show webcasts and podcasts for TV series of all kinds, like post-game wrap-up shows for all your favorite TV shows. AfterBuzz TV hosts are industry insiders who break down episodes of shows, take calls from fans, and interview cast and crew from each series, with over 60 different after-shows, from Boardwalk Empire to American Idol to Vampire Diaries to Real Housewives, and more. Now, after a night of TV, I can ignore my stupid coworkers, who I hate, and go straight to my desk and watch or listen to all my favorite AfterBuzz TV after shows, and have all the TV fan interaction I need. Thank you, AfterBuzz TV.
AfterBuzz TV. What do you want to buzz about?
Is that your foot? I know what
No, it's okay.
I'm going to stop.
Well, we're back on after commercial, and I want to plug a couple of things here. My Rick's Corner I started a couple of years ago with some of my wrestling students doing promos outside the ring, and then I took it into my garage and made myself a studio and started doing interviews with a lot of legends of wrestling, a lot of legends of bodybuilding, and a lot of actors as well who are into wrestling and bodybuilding. And I've just come right to the bump of 3 million viewers now. So if you guys want to catch that stuff, it's rickscorner.com, or you can go to YouTube/Ric Drasin, and you can see all these archive footages of all my interviews and all about wrestling talk and some of the stuff in the ring. And I have some of our classes because I have a wrestling school as well, as you know,
Yes.
that we train on Tuesdays and Saturdays, and we have a lot of good students. And we just had Austin Morrison be accepted as a development deal for WWE, which is nice for all of us.
Very nice.
And
Very excited for him.
Very excited.
Yes.
We're located in Sherman Oaks, California, and the fees are very reasonable. It's not a rip-off because there's very few wrestling schools around nowadays. I get calls daily from people, as you know, all over the world that want
All
to train.
over.
All
Yep.
over. And is there a school by me? Is there a school by me? No, that they're just not around. And I'm one of the few guys that have been in the business 40 years that knows the business.
I don't think there's anyone else that I've seen that teaches that has as much experience as you do.
I don't think so.
Yeah.
I'm not saying that egotistically. There's just
No,
you
it's
get these
just
you get young guys 20 years old that they put some mats in the backyard and they jump off the roof, and that's probably about it. So I just want to say that it's rickscorner.com, and my school is in Sherman Oaks. All the information's on there, and that would be on my website rickdrasin.com. Then I have a book out on my life from day one. No, I couldn't do from day one because I was just born. But it starts about with had a music career, and I was with Capitol Records, and then I went into wrestling and bodybuilding and won titles. And I talk about the days on the road of pro wrestling, the days behind the scenes at Gold's Gym in the 70s, the golden era with Schwarzenegger and all of us guys, because we pulled some pretty crazy stuff down at the Venice Beach back then, and everybody wants to know about it. But that's also on my website. It's called The Time of My Life, rickdrasin.com. And then for you wrestling fans out there, on my site, I have videos because everybody wants to know about my ring. Where do you get a ring, and how do you build a ring, and what does it cost, and where do you do it? So the ring I have on my site, it tells you how to build a ring. It has the plans, it has a book, and it has a video. I also have a book on how to promote, because people run shows, as you guys know, in the indie market, and they draw 50 people. My first show, I drew 510, and there's a system on how to do it. And so the book tells you from A to Z how to run a show, where to get your wrestlers, how to book, set up your concessions, how to get your insurance, your licensing, your ring, all that kind of stuff, so you can run a show and make some money with it, and run it as a fundraiser. So you have some of the money away, keep some for yourself, and proceed on to your next show every month. I also have a book on how to open a wrestling school. And when I wrote it, I realized that not many people want to open up wrestling schools, but they want to go to one. So the book itself really tells you what to look for, how to find what you want in a wrestling school, what you're going to learn, and then I have a list of all the crazy calls I got from people who want to be superstars and those who show up and what they go through.
That's going to be a long list.
I wish you could record some of those.
Oh my
I would
God.
love to hear those.
Oh my God. But those 3 books are on my website, and they're not very expensive, and you'll get a big kick out of it. There's a lot of humor in there because my life is fun. It's a big joke.
Your life is fun.
And it's still fun.
It's still fun.
Yes.
So I want to plug that.
That's what life is supposed to be.
It is, isn't it? And I also want you to plug what you're going to be doing with Playboy, because this is really interesting.
Uh-oh. Okay. Well, my issue will be for hot grandmothers.
There she is. There she is.
There I am.
Oh, wow.
Thank you.
I have a fire. Can you put it out? I have a burning thing is what it is.
Oh, I've heard that one. Yes. And you can actually go to my website, www.glowsunnygirl.com. glowsunnygirl.com. And then Facebook, of course, Patricia.Summerland at Facebook. And Twitter as well. You can follow me on that.
Yeah, I think we all have Facebook.
Right.
You know, at 91 years old, I still have
love
a Facebook.
Facebook.
You know. So you're working in the movie industry as well, right?
Television industry, yeah. Mostly reality television, documentary.
Okay.
Hasn't been as much recently since I've been focusing a little bit more on wrestling, but I'm still in the business.
Of course, they all have to make a living. And Brian, you are with TNA?
No. I quit TNA about a month and a half ago.
Yeah.
So I'm just going with the breeze.
Yeah. Where's the breeze going to take you think?
I don't know. I'm just starting up a conspiracy radio show. Just signed a deal yesterday, actually. So we'll see how that goes.
I read about that.
Nice.
Is that right?
I did.
Yeah.
I did.
Yeah. That's one of my biggest passions, and then I make cartoons as well, and then I guess I'll wrestle here and there too.
What kind of cartoons do you make?
Wow.
I just draw a little like for kids. I take markers, I draw little things, I cut them out, and then I put them on a poster board and I move them so it's stop motion animation. And
That's my background too. We need to hook up.
is that right? Fun
Yeah.
Time Pro Wrestling is the name of my little show.
I never knew
Yes,
I'm
that.
going to have to check that out.
Yeah.
I did cartooning. That's how I did the
very
Gold's Gym
cool.
logo.
Is that right?
And then I went into airbrushing
Oh.
and animation.
our cartoons are gonna have to meet up one of these days.
Is it like motion caption? Is that what you mean?
Like stop motion.
right?
So yeah,
Yeah.
take a picture,
Right.
move it just slightly, take another
that's
picture.
so
So it's about
cool.
700 to maybe 1,200
Frames?
pictures I have to
Neat.
take.
It's
and-
like claymation.
like claymation.
Yeah.
That's cool.
Yeah,
Very
that's
cool.
that's a whole talent to do that stuff. It's
Oh,
crazy.
yeah.
I love stop motion.
I love it.
Yeah.
We'll do that with
The
wrestling.
Wallace and Gromit.
You make your own wrestling game.
right.
Oh yeah.
Well, this has been fun.
It's been really fun.
This is great. So
And now, your AfterBuzz TV.
I think we're done.
I think we're done.
No predictions?
Oh, predictions. Prediction, pain.
I have
Yeah.
a prediction.
I mean, let me
wrestling
say
days
this.
hurts.
Since you guys were out of breath and you weren't expecting to continue with predictions, I will say this: if you obviously this is the first show for SmackDown we're doing, and I'm very excited that you guys are doing it, and I'm sure the fans are equally excited because they've been writing us here at AfterBuzz TV, and so I want to thank you guys for taking that on. If you are listening, whether on iTunes, YouTube, through our AfterBuzzTV.com page. You know, these guys are live every Sunday. Right now we're doing 2 p.m., but it's probably going to switch to about 4 p.m. But just go on AfterBuzzTV.com. You'll see the show times there right on the homepage. And then, as we kind of continue, please tell your friends about us. We want to spread the word. These guys have such great knowledge. And then rate and comment us on iTunes. These guys are doing it every week, and they will continue to do so, all for free to you guys. And so,
There
in
we
return,
go.
you guys can rate and comment us. It literally takes like 15 to 20 seconds.
I have one prediction.
Go ahead.
I will predict a weather that tonight around 7:10 the sun will set, and we probably won't see it again till probably maybe tomorrow morning.
I think it's a really good prediction.
That's a good prediction.
It's a great prediction.
And
Put
the
your
wind
money
is
on it.
blowing.
Thank you very much.
From Bing.com, executive producers Maria Menounos, Kevin Undergaro, Phil Svitek, and the entire AfterBuzz TV staff, we would like to thank you for listening to the AfterBuzz TV network. To watch or listen to other after shows and post comments or questions, be sure to visit AfterBuzzTV.com. I'm Sir Richard Wentworth, and this has been a presentation of AfterBuzz TV.
Rick.
The views expressed herein are those of the hosts only and do not necessarily reflect the views of AfterBuzz TV or its owners or principals.